Hi boys and girls, I'm back and we're ready to draw our insect. I'm almost ready. I need to let this little guy out, but I thought we'd look at him again before we draw him. At the body parts that you see, I hope you can see that he has a head, which is round, a middle part of his body, which is kind of a small, kind of an oval, a little bit triangular, kind of goes down really skinny, and then a big abdomen. And I don't know if you can see it, but he has 6 legs. Looks like he's got something stuck to one of them. And he's got 2 antennas. Whoops. And you can't really see it, but ants have 2 little things for chewing that are called mandibles. Okay, we'll probably put those in too. All right, so here we go. This is my reminder of all the parts we're going to do. We want to make sure we have a head, a thorax, and an abdomen, because those are the 3 parts of every insect. And then an ant has 6 legs, which also makes him an insect. Insects all have 6 legs. And he has antennas. And then remember I talked about those mandibles. Those are like what he uses to chew, okay? Or hold on to those leaves in the story. All right, so we're going to start by making his head, okay? And his head is kind of an oval shape, but actually when I looked at it closer, I thought it was kind of an oval that's kind of squished in on one side. Maybe more of a bean shape or something, right? Because it's kind of like an oval that's been pushed this way and kind of pushed out that way, okay? So I'm kind of making an oval, but it's got a little dent in it, all right? And then his body part, this middle part here, it kind of reminds me of a kite shape, only it's rounded. So I'm going to make it kind of go big, and then small, and then come back out again and go back in. So it's like a kite, but it's got round, we rounded it here on the 2 sides, okay? And notice their body gets really skinny down here, and then they have a big abdomen that kind of comes to a point. So this is, to me, this reminds me of like a teardrop. So I'm going to start here and make it kind of pointed, and then I'm going to make it round and come back down to a point. So it's like an upside down teardrop if you look at that, like a raindrop or a teardrop, okay? So I've got my head, thorax, abdomen. This was maybe even a little bit skinnier on the real one, but I think I might have made it a little big. That's okay. Now, they also have 6 legs. That's one of the things that makes an insect an insect. And the legs are always attached to the thorax. You never hook your legs onto their abdomen or their head, because their legs are all attached to the middle part of their body. So I'm going to put 2 legs going forward like this. I'm going to make them have a little bit of a joint there, like they're bent, like almost like our elbow, you know how, so that they can bend their arm, okay, or their leg. They can bend it right there like a knee or an elbow. And then I'm going to do another one here. And this middle one, I think I'm just going to make it kind of go back a little bit. So there's the little elbow point. I'm going to make it go straight out and back just slightly. And then this one, their last one, I'm going to make it go down and out. Down and out. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You should have 3 on each side. Okay, and then we need to make eyes, okay? And so they actually have things, they have compound eyes, which means things look kind of funny to them, a lot different than ours. Probably more like a fly where they see a lot of different things all at once. Okay, so we have 2 eyes, and then we need antennas. And I noticed when he, that his antennas were kind of like a curved line and then a straight line. So I'm going to do a curved line and a straight line like that going out. And then for his mandible, that's his little chewy parts of his mouth, they're just like a little triangle kind of right there, a little curved triangle. So he can use it to pinch onto things, okay? Some ants have a stinger back here where they can actually sting you, but not all ants. I don't think the ones around here do. I don't know if I've ever been stung by one, I don't think. But in Texas, I know my uncle has some that will sting you, okay? All right, so once we have him drawn, the next part is you could color him in. The ant in our picture, or in our story, was black, and most ants are. You could color him red or brown, and the red ants are kind of a brownish red. Or if you wanted to be creative, you can make him any color you want. And you notice in Mrs. Walker's example, I actually made him blue in this picture because I wanted to still be able to see his eyes. I was afraid if I made him black, we wouldn't be able to see his eyes. So you can just be creative on that part, okay? Now, I said in the video before that we might paint an insect. And I thought, I was outside walking around and I noticed that this little rock was in my rock. Well, it's kind of like a flower bed, but it's got rocks in it. And I thought this one might be a good one because it kind of reminds me of the body of an insect, okay? And I thought, since ants aren't very colorful, and I have colorful paint markers here, that I might want to do a beetle, which is another kind of insect. So this beetle book is kind of a good resource for Mrs. Walker when I'm trying to think about what colors I might want to make mine. We all are familiar with the ladybug beetle, aren't we? But there's lots of different kinds of beetles that have all kinds of lines and designs on them. I thought I'd just flip through here really quick and show you a few of them. Ooh, that one has, that stag beetle, he has giant pinchers. I won't probably be doing him because I don't have that kind of a rock shape. This one wouldn't work with my rock either, probably. I'm probably going to just be really creative with the designs on the body of mine. Okay. Ooh, I found one of these last night. That's a June beetle. June bug. We call them June bugs. But I had one of those on my porch last night, and it's not even June yet, but it's getting close, isn't it? Alright, well, I'm going to kind of go really fast here so you can kind of see him. Ooh, look at him. Those are cool antennas, aren't they? This little guy's underwater, you can tell with all the bubbles. Alright, so there's our, hopefully that kind of stirred your imagination like it did mine. I am going to start, I think I'm going to start by making some white lines on here because he's such a dark rock. I think I want to make it light. Now my paint pens, you got to shake them really good, and I noticed that you have to like have a piece of paper to kind of push on to get them started. But once they're going, and I did this ahead of time so you guys wouldn't have to wait, they take a long time to get started. I'm going to do, beetles have a top part to their, and then they have a middle part. So we've got your head, your thorax, and then their abdomen, they've got wings, and their wings are usually separated right down the middle. So like the ladybug, there's a line right down the middle. I'm going to make this one have lines that go all the way down. So he's sort of kind of striped. And let's see. There. I don't know about his head though. I think I'm going to save that, make it a different color. Let's see. Let's try some green. I like green. Ooh, that's a pretty green too. I like the green lines. Beautiful. So you're just going to think of lines and designs. If you have paint markers, this works really good with paint markers. I think you could probably do it with regular paints, but you're going to want to get a really light colored rock because you see how dark my rock is to start with. If I were to start with markers on a rock this color, I don't think it would show up very good. But if you have, ooh, that's pretty. Might put some pink polka dots on there. If you have a light colored rock, regular markers will probably show up okay. However, if you have the chance to use paint, if your mom and dad have some paint around, or you can get some paint pens, they really work great. Look at that. I think I'm going to put some black dots in the middle of his eyes. Black's always a good color, although this was a pretty dark bug to start with, or a rock to start with, so I probably didn't need a lot of black, did I? I need more white. Probably right in the tip. You know what, I think I'll wait for his eyes to dry because I don't want to mess up my white. I'll go ahead and add some along the sides here. Now, if I was going to do the bottom, how many legs should my insect have? I hope you said 6, because all insects have 6 legs. Alright, and that is our bug that we just painted. Hopefully you're having fun painting or creating or drawing. You can even get out your markers and color in the one that we drew. You can make a different kind of insect. You don't have to make an ant. You could do 3 body parts and make any kind of insect you want. So have fun and be creative.